This is Ollie. He's a 6-year-old chocolate Labrador retriever that I've had the pleasure of working with the past few weeks. He's available for adoption through Lab Rescuers. You can check out his profile on the website, labrescuers.org. This first command is wait at the door. This command is wonderful for preventing your dog from rushing through the front door or jumping out of the car before you're ready. Wait. Good. Free. The rest of this video is going to take you through a regular training session with Ollie so you guys can see what he's been working on. This first little warm-up exercise is encouraging him to give me attention. I'm working on watch me. I'm tracing a line from his nose up to my eyes, saying watch me, and then yes to let him know he did it right and giving him a reward. I'm also pairing watch me with leave it. So once he does a good watch me a few times, my left hand has a treat in it. That's the leave it hand. Then I ask him to leave it and watch me. He's getting the reward from the watch me hand. Left hand leave it, right hand watch me, reward. Now I'm doing leave it on the ground. So the food is on the ground. I'm going to make sure that he doesn't go for the treat. He never gets to pick it up from the ground. You saw me put my foot out there, and that's called a body block. And so I'm blocking him from the treat. So then I had to use a bigger body block there because he was going for it. Now I'm putting more treats down, saying leave it. And then again, I'm working the watch me. So he's getting the reward for looking at me, not going for the food on the ground. The food on the ground represents something that he should not have. So he's never going to be allowed to pick that item up off the ground. If he's going to have that pile off the ground, it's going to be because I picked it up and gave it to him. And you guys can see I turned that into a watch me first. He's still staring at the treat. I'm waiting for him to look at me. There he is. And then reward. Oh, body block. A little body, more severe body block. He's still thinking about going for that pile. And then I'm rewarding him when he looks up at me. Leave it, watch me. Body block. Good job. Don't let him pick up the pile off the ground. That's probably the most important thing. You don't want him to end up with your shoe after you say leave it. So make sure that they don't end up with the item unless you are handing it to them. So that becomes the rule. Now we're working on sit, stay. I just gave him a stay hand cue and I'm walking away. Reiterating stay before I approach, giving him a reward. He's trained enough that he can do everything on a hand cue. So I'm not using food to get him into sit or down, etc. I'm asking for the command on a hand cue at this stage of training, and then he's getting the reward after the fact. Adding a little bit of distraction there. This guy's sit stay is better than his down stay. You'll see his down stay coming up and he definitely has a harder time with his down stay. He's a good boy. He's got a little bit of anxiety, so he's got a little bit of a hard time relaxing in certain situations. So I've been trying to really work on his down stay and trying to get him to relax on cue. But you'll see in this next portion of the video that down stay is not his forte or his favorite thing. When I'm working on down with Ollie, I really try to focus on not having him in a sphinx down. And what I mean by that is that I don't want his hind legs underneath him ready to spring up. So what I'm doing here is I'm placing the treat by his hips to try to encourage his back legs to kick out to one side or another. He's literally, every time I'm asking him to do that, he does it, and then he's popping back up into the Sphinx position, which he's likely to pop out of, which you can see right here. He doesn't last long. He's not settling in, and there's a pop-up. When they do pop up, I try to get them back into position as fast as possible. I'm going to use a leash pressure down. He understands that downward pressure on the leash means down. And I'm going to use leash pressure instead of a treat here because I don't want him to think that pop-ups result in rewards. So I'm just going to reposition him with the leash pressure down. And now if he maintains it, I'm going to go back and reward that. But I'm not going to give him a treat to get him back into position. He maintained that, so now he's actually going to get several treats because he did a good job. Remember, this is not his favorite command, so we might see him pop up again. There he goes. He popped up again. So I'm repositioning, and I'm quick about it. I'm not like, oh, yay, you broke. It's like, no, get back in position as fast as possible, leash down. Now I'm really just proofing it. So now I'm saying, okay, here's the deal. You stay put while I take off. So I'm just testing him a little bit. There you go. Good job. So every time I make a big movement and he doesn't move, I'm going to come back and reward him. And the reason I'm doing this is because he's broken quite a few times. So now I'm joking around with him like, hey, stay means I move, you stay put. That's what you're trying to explain. So there he did a pop-up, no treat. Then he stayed, then I treat. So at this stage of his training, I would still use a lot of food rewards because nothing is truly solidified quite yet. He's just done 2 weeks. He still needs a lot of reinforcement with food rewards so that all of this stuff sticks. I think people are too quick to fade out treats. Keep using food rewards for a while. You can tell that not all of it is super solid yet. That's why he's popping up. So keep the rewards going. He's a good boy. Okay, so now we're going to add a little bit of go to your spot. He's really good at coming when called already. He's a very sticky dog, so coming when called wasn't something I overly focused on. I focused a lot on relaxation and settling down. So that was my primary work with this particular dog because he is a little anxious and has a hard time relaxing. So here I'm just teaching him to go to a spot. I'm putting a treat and he's doing a sit stay. So I'm kind of baiting the spot. I'm teaching him where it is I want him to go. And then I'm going to send him to the spot. He's getting a little anxious. He wants to go over there. I'm working the stay and the watch me from earlier. Sit, stay, watch me, and then go to your spot. So now that he knows where he's supposed to go, I used a treat that time. Now I'm just going to point at the spot since he knows where to go. And then I'm going to ask him for the dreaded down that he doesn't love, but he'll do it for me anyway. Kind soul. Good job, buddy. As a 6-year-old, this dog didn't even know how to go down yet, so he didn't have that base of training. So for him to learn to even do this well in a couple weeks, I was perfectly happy with. And you can see every time he pops up, I'm using leash pressure downward to get him back into position and then rewarding him. I am looking for opportunities to reward him and let him be right. So right now, even though he is ready to pop up, I'm still giving him rewards throughout this. I was hoping he would relax a little bit. So there I'm pointing at his hips and I'm trying to get that relaxed positioning. And then he pops right back up. So this is the work that he needs to continue. This guy's been through a lot and has gone through many different homes and foster homes lately. So he has ended up with some mild separation anxiety. And these exercises here, where we're trying to teach him to stay on a spot and relax, are very helpful with separation anxiety training, as well as not making a big deal out of departures and homecomings. Relaxation training will really help this guy out. It's very hard, the down, if you're an Ollie. Good boy. And then when you're ready to release him, his release word is free. And that's what you say when you're ready for him to get up. Ollie is incredibly strong on a leash. He's pulled people off their feet before. So I did a lot of work training him some basic leash manners. He knows that upward pressure on the leash means sit, downward pressure on the leash means down. And now I'm working on backwards pressure, meaning stop or slow down. So every time I walk forward, I ask him to stop, and then I give him a treat for his feet not traveling forward. So I'm putting him behind me. I call that heel. And then I say, wait. And I give him a treat for not traveling forward. So heel,
Wait.
and then pull back, wait.
Wait.
And then there he kind of crept up. So I'm waiting for his feet to stop traveling forward, and then I give him a treat. So heel, wait, stay behind me, and then I give him a treat. So this warm-up exercise is teaching him that I don't want him to pass me when we're out on walks. So it's teaching him where I want him to be positioned. Not in front of me, behind me. So see there, I'm just teaching him to stay behind, and when he stops trying to pass me, I give him a treat. He did sit there, but he doesn't need to. He needs to just stop trying to get in front of me and pass me. So again, put him behind me. I say heel. Have him stop. I pull back and say wait. And then when he stops traveling, I reward. When I'm training a dog to have good leash manners, I always warm them up with this exercise first. I might work them a little bit in the backyard or in the driveway before I head out on my walk. So that way I'm setting the expectation for the outing, and I'm letting them know that I don't want them to pass me. So the most important work when you're training leash manners is to teach your dog that they should be following you, be in step with you, match your speed, and they shouldn't overtake you, pass you, and pull you. If they're out in front of you with the leash tight, then they're actually leading, and you're actually training them to pull every step you take on a tight leash. So every step that you take on a tight leash is training your dog to pull. Using turns when you're leash training is the best solution. If you're using a turn, you're training them to follow you. So as soon as the leash gets tight, make a turn and then ask them not to pass you. So there I turned and I said wait, and I asked him not to pass me. So turn, then ask them to wait. Reward them for not traveling forward. He kind of crept up on that one. And now turn and ask him to wait. So the commands that I use when I'm doing the turns and the wait are this way and wait. So those are my leash manner verbal cues. So the commands are heel, which means get into heel position. Wait means don't pass me. Let's go, I say when I allow them to travel forward. And this way, I say on a turn. I also use the command take a break when I'm going to follow them for a potty break or a sniff break, and I'm allowing them to get out of heel position. So right here, I'm allowing him to take a break. I sent him in front of me, and now I'm holding the handle portion of the leash, and I'm following him around so he can have a little sniff. Then I'm going to demonstrate how I get him back into heel position. I get him behind me. I say heel. So right here, behind me, heel. Then wait, a little tug back on the leash, let him know don't pass me. And then we continue forward in heel position. So now he knows he's no longer on a break and he's in heel. So take a break, I follow him around, hold the handle of the leash, get him back into position, say heel, wait, and then travel forward in heel position. So the most important part of this is that they know the difference between when they're heeling and following and when they're on a break where you're allowing them to be a dog. And I think breaks are great. I think the dogs should have sniff breaks and pee breaks and, you know, the freedom to explore their environment when they're out on walks. So I really don't care how long the dogs spend either in heel or on a break. It's just important for them to know the difference between when they're in heel or on a break. All right, that's been a training session with Ollie.